But has society put us in a dilemma? Have they put us in a situation? Because, Emmett, they keep changing the game on what a good man is. They keep changing the game. I don't know. It's confusing. Have they set us up to fail? Because every 2 or 3 years they come out with a new mandate as to what is a good man. It used to be if you were a good provider, you were a good man. You took care of your family, you paid the bills, you brought the money home, you were a good man. Didn't matter that Papa didn't talk. Papa said over the corner, how you feel, Papa? Say nothing. You might get a I love you every 20 years in a critical situation. Maybe on the deathbed confession, they might break down and say some grunt love. You couldn't tell whether it was love or gas because it was just a grunt. But it didn't matter. He was a good man. And if you said anything about him, your mama would slap you. She said, don't say nothing about him. He's a good man. Because back then, women didn't let kids disrespect the husband. But today, you can't just be a provider. You got to be in touch with your feelings. Listen at your inner voice. You've got to be touchable. You've got to be willing to express your emotion. And so now you're not just a provider. You don't just bring home the bacon. You got to be able to cry. But if you cry too much, you're too soft and you're wimpy. And if you don't cry at all, you're not a man. And so now most men are confused. How can I be a good man to a woman who enjoys being a good man? It's going to get rough in here today, but we deserve a day too. I spent all my life being groomed to open the door for you and make sure you're okay, call you, check on you, make sure that what you calling me for? You checking up on me? I can open up the door for myself. When you pride yourself on doing what I used to do, have you not worked me out of a job? Yeah, and that's just the introduction. Wait till I get down. We still eating sushi. We ain't got to the entree yet. We're just in the little flambe or something. We haven't got down to the real meal. Has society set us up to fail in that now we don't know whether to buy the dishes or wash the dishes? Has society set us up to fail because you moved into the positions we used to have and we don't have a role to play, and yet we're commanded to be on the set? Why do you need us? When was the last time you told him why you needed him? What do I bring to the table? What is it about me that makes your life better? Because if all you're good at is communicating where I fall short, don't expect me to excel, because I do not flourish in criticism. I flourish in praise. I flourish in the same thing that you give your sons. Because believe it or not, every father in here is somebody's little boy. Oh, it's quiet now. Let me go to the word and get you out of this. You didn't like my appetizer, maybe you like my entree. You see, the world is accustomed to celebrating mothers. It's sexy to celebrate mothers. Ask retail how much more money is spent on Mother's Day than Father's Day. Ask Hallmark how much more money they make off of Mother's Day cards than Father's Day cards. Isn't it funny? You made all the practices, you went to all of the skirmishes, you went to all the games, and when the boy finally hits pro ball, he gets up and says, "Hi, Mom." There's not always a big payoff for being a steady man. Yeah. And the truth of the matter is, more and more men of all colors are quitting, walking away. And the younger generation is mad, angry, upset because their fathers left, never even noticing you on your third go-round. It is easier to criticize somebody for leaving than it is for you to stay. And sometimes you're blaming your parents for things that are in you too. Oh, it's quiet. I never knew my father. You left your wife. Your kids haven't seen you in 6 months to a year. You're creating the same thing that you're criticizing your father for doing. Are you not doing it back to your son again? I just thought I'd ask you about it. What is different about you walking out on your wife and your daddy leaving your... I just thought I'd bring it up. You just left another broken-hearted little boy trying to figure out who he is, trying to find a role model, a mentor anywhere he can, from a gang leader to a child molester, looking for somebody just to touch him because your hand left him untouched. Daughters so fascinated by men they've never been with that they sleep with anyone just to see what a man was like. Or women who marry men but have never lived with a man because she didn't have a father, doesn't understand the signals and the nature and the characteristics of a man. And it's hard to be a good man to a woman who never had a man in her life at all. Because you have to live up to what she imagined. And just because you imagined it doesn't make it doable, doesn't make it right, doesn't make it believable. I wish you would have imagined a flawed man, a broken man, a man that gets tired, a man that gets scared sometimes, a man that's worried and still fighting and swinging and pushing. I wish you had not imagined Superman for a husband. I wish you would have imagined Clark Kent, because Clark Kent might be more achievable. I have my super